what you bought. You know what time it is, nigga.
Better watch how you step in. Yeah. But that was my niggas.
Yeah. I'm in a yo. Got my nigga Ramon with me.
But that was my niggas, it'll be an honor.
You know what I'm saying?
Under commanding general, your honor. That for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Look, hey, straight off the top, I love all of my niggas. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top when we ballin', my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change, and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home. That's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown. I'm in these streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my I'm gon' let him have it. Hey, make you the shit, this truth the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them tracks, they be like, who is this? I'm rude with it. Ain't got no manners. All them pussy niggas talking shit. Yeah, I know they can't stand us, but we UPK, Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm rippin'. And my niggas solid number, real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start stepping. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood. I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them. I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For I take your life or let you take mine. That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves, shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complexion. Still fighting to get accepted. We hear the truth and reject it, but love is getting corrected. And all my niggas correct me. The commandments, the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey.
Don't have messed up, no. Bad news is to beat your home, nigga. Yeah. Come on, get on that ass real quick one time. 144, bitch.
They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me whole guard. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I go with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm too hardcore. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about anymore. I need a Vaseline like my Nina Puffer bar. Took a sock, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like a dart. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shang Tsung. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Hopper free. Try to hope it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Throw them boys, we taking over. Call them up like set the date. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses, make moves. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I'm making hits like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me a whole cart. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan, I come with the fart. You gon' ride, yeah, of course, get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this lord, so they bitches either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that, I swear I'm to our core. Yeah, I just got off the call, I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife and your fart. He ain't locked in with the count and with the speaking to me fart. Yeah, I just took the floor, ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign, tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion, they can see the outcome. Get them niggas bad, got them tied down and out there. You can't do with them steppers, niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent, I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I read that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we whole fart. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan, I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course, get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. I told you niggas, you ain't cut like that, I swear I'm to our car. And I just made it call, we gon' start another war. Yeah.
Pando, kill the beat.
I don't know who, somebody need to hear this. Y'all don't speak Hebrew, that's Yiddish. How the fuck you try to label us anti-Semitic? We the Israelites, blacks, native Hispanics. The Germans get locked up for the Holocaust. Meanwhile, black people still up in the Holocaust. 100 million of us died in the transatlantic. 6 million died, y'all want the world to never forget it. You can never be a Jew, you a Ashkenaz. This ain't a star dum-dum, a gun that would die. Yeah, Yeezy told the truth and got ostracized. Not one person in the Bible had on a yarmulke. We were slaves in America like we was in Egypt. Y'all don't even fit the curses in the Torah neither. Y'all was blind to the truth, I had to make it clear. How Jerusalem, your land, your people came from Europe. That was 1947, your menorah got 9 sticks, it's really only 7. Yeah, it's us against the world, Armageddon. This what happened when you inherit lies from your ancestors. Y'all the synagogue of Satan with them black hats. Your whole nation sitting ducks, Aflacs. Bunch of thieves and culture vultures, ain't nothing kosher. To tell the truth, you vagabonds don't have a culture. Macedonia, Alexander and Philip, you a convert, so tell me, how the fuck is you Israel? That don't make you the people just cause you litter. Why my people can't hate your people like y'all hate Hitler? All the prophets was black and was called nigga. Y'all don't even fit the description that's in the scriptures. Abraham, all the way down to Jacob, we the real Jews. Y'all don't study Christ, y'all follow the Talmud. Keep it real, yeah, let's keep it real. Cold hard truth, it give you chills. Say y'all Jewish cause y'all ain't really them. About to do them like Hammond, it's the Feast of Purim. UBK undefeated, this an easy win. We was born fighting, y'all the evil twin. Jacob took hold of his heel, then out came his little red bastard, they kosher deals. It's only 12 tribes, y'all trying to make it 13. Esau despised his birthright, the Lord cursed him. He ain't the devil, who is? I'm still searching. Ask your rabbi why he get them babies herpes. I don't know what's worse, that or you claiming that you a Maccabee. I'm about to cancel, everybody trying to cancel ye. I ain't afraid to speak, that's what I do. They riding to the core, I'm just judging them by their fruit. Cause they ain't suffering curses. If I was carnal, I promise I'd punch you in person. I know this an uncomfortable subject. They making millions off our culture and black people suffering from it. Yeah, they don't believe in Christ, they the Antichrist. Make a living off of niggas, they a parasite. I ain't afraid to tell the truth, niggas terrified. I'm about to go DEFCON 4, I ain't satisfied.
That is proof. That is absolute proof that they know we are the real Jews. That's absolute proof. Now you got the records. Go find me a white Jew on any archaeology in Egypt anywhere. You will never find a piece of archaeology with white people as slaves in Egypt. So don't tell me that they were slaves and it's their identity, and they know it. And I know the blasphemy of them, but they are Jews. The Lord knows the blasphemy of you so-called white people that say you are Jews and you are not Jews. You are not the people of the law. You are not God's chosen people. God's chosen people
people are living in the ghettos of America. God's chosen people are in poverty and depression in the streets of America. God's chosen people are walking around in America with no identity. That's where God's chosen people are.
Shalom, Israel. Shalom. We're going to get started now. Shalom, Israel. We had ISUPK started out at 1 West 125th Street under Commanding General Yohana. I am Precinct Officer 50, Akashka, ISUPK, Bahamas. And we're going to get into our class. What we do is we clap it up. We're going to clap it up. We're going to get started today in Wednesday evening class. Now, before we get into the actual lesson tonight, I'll be going over some current events. And before I get into the actual current events, I want to remind you, as we've been doing from time to time, please get into the habit of planting and growing, especially if you have a yard. Make some preparations to plant something. Plant a crop. Get into the habit. Plant a small garden. Do not overwhelm yourself in the beginning. If you have a garden going, beef it up. Add some more things in there. If you have nothing going, plant something. Let's get this thing on. What's happening is we see the fuel prices increasing. So that's going to put a strain on everything. Okay. Now that's one of my current events, but my encouragement for you to grow, to plant crops, grow vegetables. If you have a yard, put fruit trees in the yard. They take a little longer. And gone are the days. Let me tell you this: gone are the days that your fruit trees are going to take 5 years to bear. They have techniques, and even from seed. Okay, even from seed, your trees can take 1 to 2 years to bear. I have proven it. Okay, I got coconuts to bear from seed. Check this out: from seed, less than 24 months. I was harvesting coconuts. The coconuts was harvesting so when the tree was so small that when the coconuts came out on the bunch, they was resting on the ground. They were so low. I'm just saying that to say, do not have in your mind that fruit trees are going to take 5 years to bear. That used to be so in the past. All right. Now, putting aside all the genetics, all the cloning, all of the LA and all of the grafting, which when you do that, your tree is a growing tree. It's going to bear the next year automatically. But even from seed, these things are bearing even quicker. I'm telling you, times are changing. Even the plants know that we're getting near the end. Okay? Even the plants are aware of that. So that's my encouragement to you, to plant something. Get a garden going. All right? You know how proud you will feel. Even if you have one tomato tree, you know how proud you would feel when you could take that tomato off and eat that and put that in a salad or cook it. And listen, there ain't gonna be nothing better than that. You're gonna love it. And you're gonna grow 2 tomato trees next time. And you're gonna grow sweet pepper after that. So you'll continue to grow. So if you're growing, just go ahead and grow. So my encouragement is that you do that. Hey, Shalom, Bhagawan. Yahweh Shemi Hashai Barakatah. Hey, good to see you, Trooper. Everything to all?
Everything to all, brother. How about yourself?
Hey, everything is definitely to all here. Getting ready for the Passover. It's a lot here. Yeah. Okay, so want to say anything? I'm into the current events, but want to say anything before we even get into the lesson?
The one's all yours.
Okay, so yeah, I'm encouraging you, just grow. Plant a garden, plant a field, plant a fruit tree. Don't not just sit by and not do anything. Like I say, even if you live in an apartment complex where you don't even have a yard, then just buy a big pot. Buy a 5-gallon bucket, get a 5-gallon bucket, put some soil in it and start growing, do something. Don't just let everything pass by and you don't get into growing anything at all. Okay, so that's my encouragement for you. And we're going to talk about some of the local current events in my neck of the woods. And I go through these current events just basically for you to, these current events is for Israel to realize the similarity of where we are. Wherever we are scattered, we're going to be, our challenges are similar. And everything is similar wherever we find ourselves. We find all of the crime, all the whatever's going on, where the other Israelite group or tribe is, it's going to be going on where you are. Okay, so a couple of the current events. We had a female attempting suicide, right? Again, these things come from hopelessness. These things come from people not seeing, people not trusting. They're not trusting in the Most High, because they want to work things out for themselves, and when they are unable to work it out, they figure what is the easy way out is to unalive themselves. That's definitely not the easy way out. Do not unalive yourself. Let the Most High work things out for you. But again, it shows that we are yet in our slavery. We are yet oppressed, because people, they don't see any way out other than harming themselves. I mean, that's ridiculous. They want to harm themselves. Mind you, I put it like this. If I'm going to harm somebody, I'll be the last person to get harmed. So I'm not going to harm myself. Okay, so if we together, if somebody, how they say, is vibing with me, bro, I want you to let you know, I'm not harming myself. If me and you there, I think I can have to harm you. Okay, but then, so I never think about harming myself. So, but again, this is oh man, this is this slavery that we are in mentally right now, that we don't even recognize it. The thing is, things are so difficult. You've been in it so long that you really you've never been free. You've never been able to experience a real nice life where you don't have to be tugging it out every week to pay a bill. You know, you've never been there. So your life has been such a pressure. You know, your whole life has been such a hard life that you don't even understand that you're actually in slavery. You've gotten so used to the situation. But guess what? And that's why these kind of things happen. Now, another one is another thing that shows you is similar. A man is behind bars for incest after allegedly sexually assaulting one of his family members. All right, this is ridiculous. You see, parents have to put systems in place to protect their children. I mean, even the family members come around, parents are supposed to have system in place to protect their children. Parents cannot just walk off and leave their children. They can't just abandon their children because of another family member there. No. Parents have to be very careful with that. You just can't leave your children alone. Again, we are in this hell hole. We are in this pressure cooker. You know, so the thing is, sometimes people do stupidness under pressure. You know, and that's what's happening. Stupidness is going on under pressure. And so this is the kind of things that we see. We see we get our next current event. We see a police officer is under investigation for unaliving and actually a citizen from another country. It's alleged that this is an American citizen. I don't know all the facts around it, but again, these are the kind of things that show you that these kind of conflicts that's an indicator that there's oppression, there's this slavery, there's no way out, there's this corruption. All of these things are going on in a small country. You're not sure what causes a lot of these things to happen. We get gang wars, we got corruption, we got all kind of oppression, all kind of mental illness. All these things are going on in the minds of the Israelites because of these years of being enslaved. I can say it, enslaved, because right now most people don't even realize that they're enslaved. They feel like they're free. So, and now that our fuel prices is going up. Well, our fuel price was $5.34 yesterday. Today it went up to $6.14. So we feeling the direct impact of the things that people are doing around the world. So yeah, that's it. We jump to a little bit of international stuff. I guess Caribbean before we jump over to the international. I don't know if you hear Trooper and with Agent Orange made this comment about Cuba. He said, "Oh yeah, we just take it." He said, "He just like it's nothing." Like I make a joke. My grandson came to my house some years ago, and he saw a toy on the floor, and he just pick it up and say, "That get take." That's what he said. Right? That's him. That's Agent Orange. He just see something. He just can take it. He's always just take it. With no regard for the sovereign nation, the sovereign people, no regard for them. He just take it. Oh, that was so comical. But apparently, they're not planning to just let him take it. He thought they could take the last thing he got into, but he realized it's not that easy. it's not that easy. And you have to be so careful on these live now, but talking about certain things. They want to cut your live because they figure you say the wrong thing, So I'm trying to be a little cryptic here, but I know you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so, and of course we see, like I say, Cuba is actually building up to try to protect themselves. They're building up, they're trying to make some preparation, trying to get some kind of military buildup to try to defend themselves, all right? To protect themselves or defend themselves, because right now the tyrant is on the loose, and he's just doing whatever he wants. Of course, we see the last war with Iran that's still going on. It was supposed to be a ceasefire, but apparently, I don't think Iran had anything to do with the ceasefire. They said, "Well, we ain't gonna talk." I don't know. This is getting so close to the end. It's getting almost the time for me to break with my strong, because, but like the general said, it might calm down, it might calm down, but you never know how this is going. This is really getting, from day to day, this stuff is just going on. People are just being unalive by so large in numbers. And it seems like the thing that I see is that there's nobody have the ability to curb the appetite of Agent Orange for doing what he's doing. Nobody seemed to be able to tell him, "Stop this, don't make sense. Stop that." Nobody seemed to be able to do that. And so all of these things are just going on. He's just doing whatever he likes anywhere in the world. Like nobody have a sovereign nation. Everybody's under Agent Orange control. He has now become the king of the Americas. Okay. And as I said to our people here, I said, listen, when Agent Orange foot stands on Florida and his next foot is on Cuba, right between his leg, between his testicles is the Bahamas. What is he going to do with us? Sooner or later, we right here, okay? We right here. So one of these days he can say, "Oh, I'll just take it." He just said, "I'll just take it." That's it. And let me tell you, we're going to capitulate right away. He said, "Yes, sir, boss. So what you want us to do?" So, yeah, but we have is we have a small defense force with add up to any local police force, okay? And a little bit of Marine stuff what was donated to us. They can't stand up to one F-35 run. One sortie and that's us. We finished with one set of bombing, so we're not going to be putting up anything. But so those things are going on around the world. It's impacting the world. It's impacting the Bahamas. Fuel price is going to affect everybody. And if this continues, which we realize that the wealthy people of the world, they don't want the system to collapse because the system is what brings them money. So they're going to, whatever they need to do to prop up this system, they're going to do it. They're going to prop this system right up. But this system is on the brink. And we'll see how it goes in the we'll see how it goes in the next few days. I think we're into the few days for the 5-day ceasefire. It don't seem to be a real ceasefire, but we'll see what happens after that finishes. But we're gonna get into some Passover talk this evening. Trooper, I want you to go to the book of Mark, chapter 14. We'll be reading from 12 all the way down to 26.
Okay. This is the book of Mark, chapter 14, verse 12. And the first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover, his disciples said unto him, Where wilt thou go, Salakia, where wilt thou that we go and prepare that thou mayest eat the Passover?
Okay, stop for fun. Now, I want us to be very clear and understand what's going on right here. You see, because apparently we don't seem to, and we have to say this all the time, we don't seem to understand who is having a conversation, who is going to be celebrating the Passover, who are the important players that's being mentioned here, because it's not spelled out, because it's understood. It's understood by those who are supposed to understand it. You know, Christ said it is given to you to understand the mysteries of the gospel, but to them is not, and that's paraphrasing. And so in this case, we have to understand who is actually speaking and to whom they're referring to. They're not referring to everybody, and this is one of the things that this is what the Israelites struggle with. We struggle with this because, and I'm saying we struggle with it because everybody believe that the scriptures is for everybody, and because they can't see it, they don't understand it, and so we struggle with this trying to explain it to them. Read that again.
Okay. This is the book of Mark, chapter 14, and verse 12. And the first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover, his disciples said unto him, Where wilt thou that we go and prepare that thou mayest eat the Passover?
Okay, so now we know that the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Passover, is the from sundown to sundown. The next sundown to sundown is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So they join right into each other. So we view that as an event. They go from one directly into the other. And so even on the Passover, we start from at that point eating unleavened bread. At that point, we basically start off from right there. Of course, in the morning it's the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and we go for the next week or so without the leaven out your house, without consuming any leaven. Okay, so we do that. Now he's saying, and the thing I want us to understand here, even before I go any further, this Passover time has been hijacked. You know, have you ever been speaking to somebody and when you start a conversation, they just hijack your whole conversation and they start talking about stuff and like you couldn't even get your thoughts across because they just took the whole conversation over? This is what happened to the Passover when it comes to Easter. They just hijack the whole time and they change it. Again, we talk about how it was changed from when the pagans and the Christians merge, I should say, they merged. And the outcome of this was the outcome of this was so crazy. The outcome was, you know, the death, burial, resurrection of Christ, the bunny laying eggs, the Easter basket, all of this stuff came out after because they needed to mix it. And so we have this mixture in the church where people would have, and guilty. Confession is good for, good for the soul. In the church, yeah, needs to participate in Easter egg hunt. Mightn't have been in the church itself, but in the fellowship hall, we say, I would make the announcement, I stand into the pulpit. Remember now, I'm the reverend in the church, okay? So I'm making the announcement, okay? After this service, we'll have the Easter egg hunt. But when you look at it now, it's so demonic. Just even mentioning, but see, because of brainwash, because of Christianity, you never even think about it. You don't even think about your own soul as a Christian, to tell you the truth. Christians don't think about their own soul, because if they really read the scriptures, they'll see, man, this is against what the scripture says. Read on, Trooper 13.
Khan. This is the book of Mark 14, verse 13. And he sendeth forth two of his disciples, and saith unto them, Go ye into the city, and there shall meet you a man bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him.
Okay, so you see, Christ, Yahweh Shai, he just had so much insight, and like he said, you go there, and you can see somebody, you can see this, you see next, and you have a conversation with him, talk to him. This is the insight that Yahweh Shai had, and he's making this preparation now for the Passover. He's making where they're gonna meet, where they're gonna lodge, where they're gonna have this Passover, and so this is what he's doing. Read on.
Khan. Verse 14. And wheresoever he shall go in, say ye to the guardian of the house, The master said, Where is the guest chamber where I shall eat the Passover with my disciples?
So even here, you get a thought or a feeling that the Spirit went before these brothers, because when they made reference, when they find the master, they say, go to the master and say, where's the guest chamber, that I will eat. Now, it's probably something that they would have, that they would rent if they needed to in any event. So, but again, it worked so smooth that they was able to find some place to have this Passover, to have this gathering. Read on.
Khan. Verse 15. And he will show you a large upper room, furnished and prepared. There make ready for us.
Right, God. So you see, this Christ telling them, giving them information. We know that Christ willed to know whatever he needed to know. He knew. Whatever he needed to know, he knew. Okay? The Father gave him whatever information he needed. He knew. Because he said all power was given him from the Father. And so he sent them and say, okay, when you find a room, prepare it. All right? Prepare it. Go on.
Khan. Verse 16. And his disciples went forth and came into the city, and found as he had said unto them, and they made ready the Passover.
Yeah. So they're making ready, and we getting ready. We going into our Passover next week, at least on the 4th. I mean, it's near enough for me to feel like next week to me. It's getting right here. So it's pretty close. On the 4th, on the Saturday evening, we'll be celebrating the Lord's Passover in Houston, Texas. All the Israelites should try your best to make your way there. Okay? Now, so he's making preparations and get everything ready for the Passover. And right now, UPK is doing likewise, making preparations and getting everything ready for the Passover. Read on.
Verse 17. And in the evening he cometh with the 12.
Okay, read on.
Verse 18. And as they sat and did eat, Jesus said, Verily I say unto you, one of you which eateth with me shall betray me.
Okay, so now we see, even right at the Passover, this is where this is unfolding. And we know the story well, where Judas betrayed him with a kiss for 20 pieces of silver. We know that we remember the story. We did it in Sunday school a few times in our past, that Judas betrayed him. And so he's actually, and sometimes I wonder, even though they heard it, why didn't somebody actually focus in on that? Trooper, you ever thought about that, Trooper?
Like you one, why did?
Okay, as you read 18 again.
And as they sat and did eat, Jesus said, Verily I say unto you, one of you which eateth with me shall betray me.
Right there. God. This is what he said to them. And even in times past before coming into UPK, that was one of the things I thought. He said when everybody was there, somebody's gonna betray me. And I was like, I just couldn't get beyond that in my mind to say, well, why wasn't something else done? Why didn't we just fight everybody and figure out who it was going to betray him? But why just pass so smooth? Because I'm thinking, if I'm sitting in a group of men and the leader says somebody in here can betray me, we can figure that out now. Okay. We can figure that out now, because we can say, guess what? Nobody going nowhere by themselves. So I don't know. I mean, that was something I thought about. And
Lucky, if I may, just to answer the question, that is actually a really good question. Though I think while I was still in the world and in Christianity at one point, I was so in the belief that Christ is the Most High that I thought, okay, what he says goes, and nobody's going to fight around him or try and challenge what he's saying. They just all kind of get scared of trying to choose who is that person they're trying to find out. So that was just my thought process then. But now I understand how good of a question that is.
Yeah, I just it was just like, why didn't anybody do anything? I'm not sure. I don't know the answer. I probably need to bring that to one of the generals or the captain. Why didn't they do? I know these things are supposed to be fulfilled. But with them saying it that loudly, it's true. I think if me and you in the room and somebody says somebody can betray the general, somebody may get unalive. Okay. Somebody get unalive. Me and you can stand back to back, and anybody move. They can't. Can't. So yeah. So we're gonna So, like I say, it was just something in my mind. And read on.
Verse 19. And they began to be sorrowful, and to say unto him one by one, Is it I? And another said, Is it I?
Yeah. See, they get this position instead of they asking them who's gonna be. At that point, we're just gonna say, listen, we're gonna make sure this ain't going no further than here, because obviously, and as the story go on, we'll see the individual have to be on their own to do this. They had to separate themselves from the group to do this. We can say, no, we got to lock down. We got to lock down. We got to lock down tonight. Anybody go, you go to the restroom, or there's somebody going with you and stand outside the door. But again, we realize that these things had to happen. Read on.
Verse 20. And he answered and said unto them, It is one of the 12 that dippeth with me in the dish. Verse 21. Oh, Salaki.
Hold on, right there. And I think it's one of the other gospels actually said it. Because again, this thing, it was in my mind as I read the scriptures, even in the past, because I think it say, if I just paraphrase, I think it might say something like, "He who dips in the dish is the one who's gonna betray me." It's like, how could all this stuff just pass over everybody's head and nobody just pounce on? Hey, if your hand was in the dish, then it was bad on you. Sorry for you. If your hand was in the dish at the time when he said it, But it just seems like a lot of this, because we realize that this was supposed to happen. But I'm thinking in this day and time, I'm not certain how we were going to react. I know we were not going to react that calm, and of course, read on.
Verse 21. The Son of Man indeed goeth, as it is written of him, but woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. Good were it for that man if he had never been born.
Good. So we see Christ also saying, the person who's going to betray him, it would have been good that he was never even born. But again, he's saying this, and I want everybody who might see this in the future to understand what's going on here? We got Christ in the room with the original 12 now. These are all only Israelites. Okay? I know y'all like to squeeze other nationalities in there and try to make Gentiles nations and all of this, trying to make heathens nations, and you're trying to squeeze as many people in the whole thought behind the promises and and the new kingdom and even how things would eventually turn out. But if you think about it very carefully, the selected people who you're going to read about in the scriptures are always Israelites. Now, I say that with a grain of salt because, of course, before Jacob, now we had all the descendants of Abraham. All right, because that's where it started. It started with Abraham, but of course, they were either all they were all linked all the way back to Abraham. Of course, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. We got to make sure we keep that line and keep that line straight. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and then you see the break off into the Israelites. So everybody would have been linked to the Abrahamic covenant, and then you see all the way down to Jacob and the Israelites. But nowhere are you seeing that this Bible is referencing other nationalities. Nowhere are you actually seeing. I mean, where you see, and I say this, where you see other nations, nationality, people are referenced, is referencing them in the moment for what's happening right there, contemporarily. It's right there, so it's bringing reference to them, something that's happening right there, introducing other nations to bring you a clearer picture and a better understanding, but not to say that they're equal with the Israelites. Okay, so a lot of times we see, because names are there, we figure, hey, they're all one group. They all get the promises, but it's not like that. Okay. So we see Judas, who at this point was remained nameless at this point in this particular gospel. He's renamed. He's still nameless at this point. So at this point, they didn't know who it was. Read on, Trooper.
Okay. Verse 22. And as they did eat, Jesus took bread and blessed and brake it and gave to them and said, take, eat, this is my body.
Okay, so this is where he now takes and actually does the sacrament. They call it like the sacrament. We see him actually introducing the bread, and then he's going to turn around and do likewise. So he say, take, eat, this is my body. Read on.
Verse 23. And he took the cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, and they all drank of it.
And go on, read on.
Verse 24. And he said unto them, this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many.
Okay, in one of the other versions, I don't think it's this one, where they said that after he said to eat his body and drink his blood, that many people left him, and he turned to the disciples and he asked, will you leave me also? Okay, and of course, all of those people who were following him, again, were his people. They were not other people. And I know, and I don't know if you know, Troop, I think I've been seeing, we will watch a lot of things and we see, anytime somebody wants to introduce another race, they're only mainly concerned with the oppressors being saved. So they don't, it doesn't seem that they think about anybody else on the earth other than the oppressor. Because it seems like sometimes they want to say, well, if the oppressor isn't going to get it, I don't want it either. Oh man. So I had friends that actually displayed something similar to that to me, direct to me, Of course they didn't understand. You being in Christianity longer than I was, they still didn't understand. And I realized they just didn't understand. Okay, read on.
Verse 25. Verily I say unto you, I will drink no more of the fruit of the vine until the day that I drink it in Salakia, until the day that I drink it new in the kingdom of God.
Okay, Khan. So what he's saying that he's gonna drink. You know, the church that I was associated with prior to coming in the truth, they would not drink. They said the only alcohol you could drink is the alcohol that was in the cough medicine. I don't know if you ever heard that one. Some medicines have a little bit of alcohol in it.
I've never heard of that.
Oh yeah, when you check, well actually, and also mouthwash have alcohol in it. You heard that one? You know that one? Yeah, but there's some medicines that contain some alcohol in it, and they were saying that is the only alcohol you could drink was in the it was in the medicine. That's but Christ, and so when we would read things like they call Christ a wine bibber, we would we wouldn't think about that, right? Because that's unexplainable in the Christian church. So that just goes over our head, and we discuss something different. But for somebody to tell you, use a wine bibber, they think you drinking a few drinks too much. What they think, all right? They think that you drinking too much as far as they're concerned. They call you a wine bibber. And the other thing, when it comes to that, I digress for a moment here. When it comes to the first miracle that he performed, people say he turned water into juice. He said, "Come on now, you can tell me the people who was drinking wine can now turn around and say juice tastes better than the wine." Come on, that was so ridiculous with them even talking about that. A fella half drunk, you bring him juice, and he can tell you, "Oh, this is the best thing I had."
Oh God.
So, no, Christ he drank wine, and so people like to tell us, "Oh, you can't drink." No, Christ did it. He did it. Okay, read on.
Al-Makan, verse 26. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives.
God. So now we see that's basically that account of the Passover, the getting together. And now we have our Passover coming up. We have almost like a week of events coming up where the brothers are going to get together. You can have a good time. And you're going to just, because like with me, these days, I have to come to be with the brothers. I'm here, in the Bahamas. I'm still building, and our numbers are few here. So we're still in the building process. So as we could get in the midst of the brothers, it's definitely going to be an uplifting time. And not only me, all of the brothers and ancestors, we try our endeavor to get to the Passover. Now it seems like definitely there'll be some challenges with a lot of things that's happening in America. With the TSA working for free. So,
Lucky, man, otherwise.
They come with it.
Working for cheeseburgers now, apparently.
Right. God, yes, I remember hearing that. Working for cheeseburgers. An insult. That's what they're doing, insulting them.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and so they've been calling in sick and resigning. And now we got ICE supposed to be starting to take over the TSA position. Oh, that's going to be rough for some of us coming through.
Go.
ICE with the dark skinned people. So anyway, we got that challenge ahead of us. But like I said, it's the time we're getting into the Passover. But I just want to remind all of us that the Passover is, and as we were just reading the scriptures, who was at that initial Passover? It was Israelites, and they were with Christ, and they followed the tradition of keeping the Passover. The Passover wasn't something new that Christ implemented. It was the Passover. It was when God delivered them out of Egypt by the hand of Moses, and they they sacrificed. They had unleavened bread because they had to leave quickly. And I'm going to just paraphrase instead of finding the story. I just paraphrase it. They had to leave quickly, so they didn't have time to make the bread, let it rise, and they ate. Basically, they were told to keep their clothes on and get ready because when Pharaoh said, y'all need to leave, y'all were going to have to leave quickly. And so that's what happened in the Old Testament. And this is what has been rehearsed year after year because this is supposed to be how we remember, how we do not forget what we went through. You know, the Passover is supposed to be celebrated yearly, and there's supposed to be 3 times we get together. I don't know if we pushed so much for the third one, but we definitely pushed for the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Those two are close together, so we try and make it a point at least get to those two if you're not able to get to the other ones. The other one, which is, and then all the other feasts, of course. But I think there was supposed to be 3 mandatory feasts. I have to look into that. But all the other ones are also we supposed to be participating in. But again, the focus is Israelites. The scriptures are about Israelites. You know, they had this saying Fubu. I'm not sure if that is still around, but you know what that is, Bhagawan?
The clothing company?
Yeah. So that's that's for us by us. So now this the Israelites. The Israelites is like the Bible was by the Israelites for the Israelites.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so a lot of people they just kind of take it away from us, or we relinquish it because of ignorance. And so when we are now reintroduced that this Bible is basically ours, we look at it very suspect. We say it's been, and I heard people say there's a lot of discrepancy, mistranslation, all of these. They say this, but sometimes they say, "Can you please show me one?" Or they're not able to show it, but they just heard somebody say it, and so they're just repeating things that somebody else had said. Okay, Margot, when you want to ask, what does your name mean? I'm just about ready to wrap it up now.
Oh, okay. My name means pilgrimage sojourner.
You can. All right, the water. Okay, any questions? Other than that, we're gonna clip it right about here, and next definitely we'll be traveling next week. I'm already here on the Tuesday. I get into Houston sometime late Tuesday evening, and we start Wednesday will be the lamb slaughter, which I've had a lot of experience slaughtering lambs. But if my help is needed, I'm there. So yeah,
Well, Christ.
yeah. Okay, so if there's no other questions, we're gonna pass the class over to Trooper Magawa.
These are the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There are another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3:8-10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, we have the 57th Passover in Houston, Texas at the B&H Ranch on April the 4th. So, Lucky, if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, men of Israel, I Majum. Men of Israel, we will now render a salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amadam Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabrakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabrakatah.
Yazapatah. Sar, meaning turn to face the sister. Men of Israel, we will now render a salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amadam Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shabbatah, Yahweh Shai. Yazapatah. And with that, class is dismissed. Shalom.
Shalom. I need to let him. I see I'm coming off of mic.